All right, we're going to get started. This is your host, Matt Brunquell, for today's webinar on the keys to converting Oracle Forms applications to Java. And conversion projects can be a low-cost, effective way to retain your investment in Oracle Forms applications, particularly in the existing application business processes and logic. This month's live webinar demonstrates the keys to migrating Oracle Forms applications to Java with a browser front end. Now, before we get started, I want to review a few housekeeping items. For those of you new to Composer Technologies, we're a part of Dagis, a U.S.-based company that offers solutions to help their customers manage, modernize, and mobilize their data worldwide. And Dagis does this by offering solutions across information governance and archiving, database and development tools, and application modernization tools. And that's the area we're focusing on in today's webinar. Now, we encourage questions, and the way you do that is to use the Q&A button on your WebEx toolbar. It is the button with the question mark. There's also a chat button, but it makes it easier for Khalid and I to look in one panel for the questions to make sure we address them all. Now, I mentioned Khalid, and that's Khalid Beg, who will be providing the demonstration portion today, and he's our Director of Migration Services for Oracle Forms projects. He's been involved in both Oracle Forms upgrades as well as Oracle Form conversion projects to Java. And actually a long time ago, he actually programmed in Oracle Forms himself. So great opportunity to ask questions in relation to the topic today with Khalid driving the demo. So with that, we'll go ahead and review the agenda. So the objective for today's webinar is to provide you with the information on converting Oracle Forms applications into Java. And we'll start with an introduction and an overview of Composer Technologies. Then we'll cover the key areas to consider when converting Oracle Forms apps to Java. We'll follow this with a demonstration so you can see how easy it can be to migrate and deploy an Oracle Forms application. And this will be followed by a Q&A session. And feel free, again, to post questions throughout the briefing and the demo, and then we'll get to them during the Q&A session. So, as mentioned at the beginning, Composer Technologies is a part of Dagis, and Composer Technologies is an established and very successful set of solutions for modernizing Oracle Forms and Lotus Notes applications. The Composer CipherSoft product, which we're going to be demonstrating today, is specifically about modernizing Oracle Forms. And we're a member of the Oracle Modernization Alliance, or OMA, because of the CipherSoft product. And OMA is an Oracle initiative to help customers modernize their legacy applications and infrastructure. Now, these are the primary keys for a successful conversion project of Oracle Forms applications. The first two keys are geared to the developers on the migration project and or the developers who will maintain and extend the converted application once it's migrated. The third key is really geared to the business or the end users of the application, and we'll illustrate all of these in the next few slides. So a migrated application should be as intuitive for the original developers to maintain as it is for new developers who may not be experienced in Oracle Forms. Practically speaking, this means your vendor of choice should provide a one-to-one conversion in the code as much as this is possible. That being said, conversion is more than the forms and menus and libraries created by the customer. All of the underlying capabilities of the Oracle Forms framework that the Oracle Forms framework provided must be replicated as well. So, for example, one of the many things the Oracle Forms framework does is manage the sequence in which triggers are fired. So your Oracle Forms app can have triggers at the form level, the data block level, the field level, and it can get quite, in these applications, complex in which sequence should these be firing. Oracle Forms, the framework, handled that, and you got to have those types of mechanisms over in your converted Java application as well. Now, in addition to producing clean Java code, Keeping the file structure of the components and objects organized much as they were in Oracle Forms provides a reference point for both the original Forms developers as well as Java developers can follow. And in particular for Oracle Forms developers, this eases the learning curve into Java if they're looking to make the transition with the converted app. So as shown in the previous slide, and kind of what I would just mention, Oracle Forms knowledge is rewarded. Keeping that terminology, object and method names, and class hierarchy helps tremendously in reducing that learning curve for the converted application. It makes the transition to Java as smooth as possible. However, the generated application is 100% Java EE application, and in the generated architecture, the key concepts and fundamental principles of object-oriented programming can be easily identified. So even though it's going to have inherit really some of the characteristics of the Oracle Forms app, it still needs to be a pure 100% Java app in the conversion. And this illustration shows just a few examples of that at the application business logic layer. So you'll see well-known Java design patterns as well as classes and methods, but there's also inheritance, interfaces, packages, abstract classes, polymorphism, method overloading, Java data types, all of those things you expect, in a real-world, fully complete Java application. And these converted applications can be maintained and extended in most Java IDEs. We can go into the architecture in more detail during the demo if needed, and we also have a white paper available if you want to delve into that as well afterwards. So we've spent some time on the conversion keys, those first two ones for the developers, having code that's easy to maintain and is flexible in the converted Java environment. But this slide illustrates the conversion key for the end users, which is maintaining a similar look and feel for the initial conversion to minimize the impact to the business. And this illustration shows a screen from a customer application in Oracle Forms. So you can see the various blocks, buttons, radio buttons, and etc. So here's what it would look like just out of the box when it's run through the Composer tool we'll be demoing here in a little bit. And you can see it comes over pretty well, but the fields and labels need some adjusting. And I don't know how well you can see it in this picture, and we'll see it better in the demo. But for example, when you look at the original forms, you see how this select chain and line label is kind of superimposed halfway over this blue field or block. And you see that it did that in the conversion as well, but that's not clean from a presentation layer standpoint. So you still need to do some adjusting to the fields and labels and things like that. And so here, when you do that, you spend about an hour and a half doing that. This is what you end up with in a browser environment in Java, which is pretty close to what you see in the original Oracle Forms app. And so you can see from an end user standpoint, they're going to be able to use the application much as they did on the Oracle Forms side. And the reason that's important to the end users is they don't have to be retrained on the app, which can be a significant cost savings. And just as important, though, and sometimes overlooked, is that the testing of this web application becomes much more straightforward because the converted app can be compared directly to the original Forms app, and not just for the look, feel, navigation, and functionality, but just as importantly for the same data results. And this can really kind of streamline that testing process and kind of minimize the risk of getting through that conversion project. Now we'll demo this, but before we do, let's just take a moment on the next slide to review what the conversion process itself looks like that you go through to do this. So this graphic illustrates the high-level steps in a conversion project with the Composer CipherSoft solution. Now, we use this process when we perform the conversion as a service, but customers have the option to license the conversion tool and go through a 4-day training course to perform the conversion themselves and go through these steps. Now, with this process, you can migrate the entire Oracle Forms application to Java. Much of the conversion is automated, as you'll see in the demo, but there are some items that are not converted automatically. And, part of this is just due to environmental differences between Oracle Forms and the 3-tier Java enterprise architecture. As part of the CipherSoft tool, there's actually an analyzer utility which will flag these differences so the time and effort to complete the migration can be estimated, before you ever start the project. So with that background, let's go ahead and go into the demonstration. And here's what you're going to see in the demo, or the things to kind of keep in mind and set the stage. We're going to convert the Oracle Summit application, and this is an Oracle application they use for training and demo purposes, and as an Oracle partner, they've given us the ability to use it for these as well. Now, it's not as large as some of the customer applications you probably have, but it has a lot of those elements in your bigger, more complex Forms apps that you would want to see converted. So it has menus, libraries, business logic, and if you ran this through our analyzer utility, it would probably come up as a simple or low intermediate complexity because of its smaller size, but it's got some of the more complex elements in it. Now we're going to do a full conversion. We'll show a similar look and feel in the browser to illustrate some of the examples from those keys to conversion. But customer-defined templates can be used as well in a conversion project with this for those wanting a kind of a new look and feel for their converted applications. So you do have some flexibility there in what you want to do with that look and feel in the initial conversion. Now, after converting the application, we'll deploy it to an app server so you can see it running side by side with the Oracle Forms app, and you'll see how that impact to the end users is minimized. And then what we'll do is we'll look at some of the converted code in a Java IDE, and typically we use JDeveloper when we do that, but we have customers using other IDEs like Eclipse, and there's lots of different flavors, if you will, out there. But when we do that, you'll see some of those other conversion keys in terms of the code structure, the maintaining of the object names, and and just how that project hierarchy and naming of the components is maintained. So with that, I'm going to switch control over to Khalid for the demonstration portion.
And then we can go to demo directly. So basically in demo, what I'm going to do is show you the application in Oracle Form, how it runs. Then I'll go to the conversion tool, how the conversion tool runs, and then we will do a deployment. We will run the sorry, just give me 1 second. I have to. Okay, so let me share my desktop again. So basically I'm gonna do conversion tool demo, and then after that we will do a deployment. Deployment would be done on Tomcat. You can do a deployment on any application server, but I'm gonna take Tomcat as my application server because it's easier and less constraints on the machine, less memory and everything, and is good for demo purposes. After that, we will do before and after how the application shows, like how the Oracle Form looks and how it looks after it's converted into Java application. And later on, we will talk about like the code, before code and after code, like PS SQL code, how it is converted into Java and all those things. So first thing first is to show you the Summit application. As Matt said, a simple to intermediate application. It contains almost all the components like tree structure, master detail relationship, tab, and calling form from form like this way, and passing the global variable or system variable through that, and basically like using the content canvases and all those facilities that Oracle Form uses. So basically it's a very compact, simple application using all the components that Oracle Form uses. So the next step what I'm going to do is show you the conversion tool. And conversion tool is simple. Basically, we don't have to type too much of information. There are few inputs that are required. There is a database connection, obviously, and database connection, we do not read anything from the database. We just use it for reference purposes, because there are in Oracle Form you can use data types depending on the table, column, and all those things. So that's why we use the database connection. There is an input folder, output folder, what presentation layer you would be using, what processes you would be converting. So there are basically in Oracle Form, you can have libraries, menus, and form itself. So you can convert in any order, but we normally recommend that if you are converting yourself, to start the conversion with the library conversion if you have libraries in your application. So first thing first is to convert library. I'm going to do browse. Select the two libraries in the application, open it, put them on the right side for conversion, and press the conversion button. These are two simple libraries, few hundred lines of code, so the conversion runs quickly, and then it gives you the log file. Basically, log file is used for the purpose of due diligence or audit purposes, that and also like to see what has gone wrong or what warnings appeared during the conversion process. Because some of the libraries could be 100,000 lines of code and it takes about 2-3 hours, and then it might throw some of the warnings that saying, okay, this would not be able to convert it because of this reason. One of the reason is go to statement, for example, that I always give to as an example. And go to statement is an unconditional branching, and obviously like Java doesn't like that, so it will give you a warning that this line of code had the go to statement and it was not converted. It has to be addressed. So you can either address before or you can address afterwards after the conversion. So once the library is converted, we can go to the menu, because this application has a one small menu. I'm going to take the menu and then just take the presentation layer as over Java presentation layer, run it. It takes again like few seconds to run, and produce the log file that you can see everything runs fine. It is fine. So we can go to the last step, which is converting the form. I'm going to take all the three forms that is in this application, customer, order, and pick, and open, put them on the right side, and do the conversion. So conversion is like a part that is like just, we don't have like complicated conversion tool or interfaces, just few steps to take, and the conversion is done. Once the conversion is done for all the modules that you are converting in your application, what you can do is you can create the WAR file, and WAR file is web archive file that is used for deployment of the application on Java servers. So you can deploy on Middle Fusionware or WebSphere or WebLogic or any application server that supports Java EE or Tomcat. In this case, we will do a Tomcat. So this is the last step we normally do, where it will create the WAR file depending on what information you provide. So in any Oracle application, what I have seen so far, you have a first driving form that drives the application. So in this case, the driving form is customer. So I provide the name of that form. So when you open the application, this form will come up first, and then it will drive and it will take you to the other forms and to the other side of the application. The next step is to say, okay, do you want to compile the Java code? And you say, yes, you want to compile the Java code. You press the generate button. Yes, I can say yes. And it will start generating Java classes from the Java compile, and then create the WAR file. At the end, it will give me the log file, as you are seeing here. Once the conversion is done, the next step is to take that WAR file and deploy on the application server. So I'm going to remove the previous deployment, so I don't need that. I'm going to go in my conversion output folder, take the WAR file that I just created, copy it, put it under Tomcat. And for Tomcat, it's just putting the WAR file and starting the Tomcat will deploy the application. That's why we use the Tomcat for development purposes as well as for demo purposes. But in the real world, you can use JDeveloper, you can use any of the other application IDEs that you want to use. So once the deployment is done, basically it will show you the last line where it says the server has mounted successfully. That means the servlet has been deployed. You can open the browser. Since it is a browser-based application, I will start my application. The first thing you would see is basically like the login screen, and that is true for Oracle Form application, because when you run the Oracle Form application, you have to log into the database. So authentication is done on the database before you can run the application. So here is the same thing. So I provide the username, password. Since there is only one database at the conversion time, you don't have to provide. You can give the name of the database if there are more than one. That which database you want to connect and run the application. Press the OK button. The application, and then since we provided during the WAR file generation that our first form that will be open is called the customer, so it opened the first form as our customer. I will show you the application right here. On the left side you can see the Oracle Form application, and on the right side it is our converted Java application. So as Matt mentioned, the main thing that we do in this application is that the trigger firing, like the triggers are firing in the same sequence as they were firing in Oracle Form application. That means the end user do not have to get trained as in normal, like when you rewrite an application or you develop a new application, you have to go through the process of testing and training and all those things. This automatic conversion through Composer technologies, basically you avoid all those training parts. If you were pressing F7 key before or F8 key before to do some specific thing, the same keys you can press or your end user can press to do the same tasks. Again, there is a master detail relationship. So for example, if you go in here, you can change the layout of the tree. There is a trigger that changes the layout of the tree. So if you click this button, it will bring all the master detail relationship here basically. If I go in here, there is a list of value. The same is present in here. If you go in here, you can see the list of value. You can change the sizes, colors, and all those things. The good part about the converted application, we have a cascade style sheet file, CSS file. What does that do? Basically, if you don't like the color of the background or color of the text or font size or all those things, you just have to go and then cascade style sheet file, CSS file, and change there and rerun the application, and it will create the different color of the background. Obviously, it will impact the complete application, but for every user. But you don't have to as in Oracle Form, you have to go in the development cycle and change all those things and compile the application and run again. All these things are for the maintenance purpose or for the admin purpose. Those things are not done anymore. You can do it as an admin rather than as a developer. So I can double click here, and what it does, it opens the order form by passing the variables from the customer to order and do the query here automatically. The same is done in here. Double click the application and it opens it right here. So this is what basically we show, like how it looks before and after. We do cover all the components like radio buttons, drop down list of values, and all those things automatically. So on that part, like we are all covered on that side. The only thing is about like the go-to statement, for example, which is different environment differences that we have to cover separately. So after this, what we do is we go on the coding side, like how the coding is converted, like how the PL SQL logic is converted, how the format or structure has converted to Java side. So I'm going to use JDeveloper as my IDE to show that part. So if you see on the, I'm just taking one form here, which is Oracle customers form, and here I can just quickly go how it is being changed. Like in over structure, we create library package, we create menu package, and we create submit package, and these things are defined during the conversion. I just go through here. If you go back very quickly just to see, this is where we define com, sports score, submit, and it's all already defined. If you change the names there, you can change the structure that will create will be different names. So if you want to have your company name or anything like that, you can use that here. So there were two libraries that were converted, and they were right here, one menu and three forms. So there is a customer form that I'm going to take for an example here. If you go in customer form, you will see there are different subfolders or sub-packages which represent the blocks here. So in Oracle form, if you see the structure, control is right there, nav, navigator, customer, and all these things are present right here. So when you go from, and plus as Matt mentioned, the naming convention remain the same before and after, except that we Javaize the names. Like for example, if there is a block name, like for example in here you have a block name called nav underscore control. So we change it underscore to remove the underscore or dashes in the naming. So we Javaize the naming convention, so it will be more like Java application rather than using dashes and underscores and all those things. So second thing is the names are same, and the triggers names are same, the built-in names are same. So as a form developer, if I'm moving to Java, and which I do some of the debugging in Java also, I don't find it difficult to find where the things are, what the things are doing, and all those things. So it's much easier the transition from Oracle Forms to Java. And even if a new Java developer who doesn't know Oracle Form, it will be just easier to know where the things are, and then follow the structure and then go from there basically. So in here I'm gonna open Java customer.java. Customer is the form name, and .java. What this file contains is basically all the form level triggers, program units, and alerts. So if you see in here quickly, so there are two alerts here, like delete alert, and this is the property of alert, which has been right here at this time. Name of the alert, what the alert type was, how many buttons would be in the alert, and what would the message in the alert once the alert pop up. So these are the two alerts that is in the form which we include in this file. Then you start with the form level triggers. So if you see there is a pre-form, right here there is a name pre-form basically. There is a when window close, when new form instance, that's the one I'm going to take quickly for review purposes. So I'm going to go in when new form instance, right, the name is right here. And if you see the coding, like for example in Oracle form we have like set application property, the same as we are using here. The same naming that were in Oracle form we are using with Java convention. And refresh tree is a program unit in here. So I'm gonna go in this very quickly, and then we can discuss further. Refresh tree country right here. So if you see, from Java I don't have to go. I just have to say declare this thing, and I can go right at that point. And there is a coding right here. So it's one-to-one coding basically. You can do cursor. Cursors are defined in here. You can do like a dynamic list of values. You can basically add the group and the dynamic list record group and all those things. So if you see the coding on the left side, basically it's almost one-to-one conversion to Java side. So if you say like init value, for example, add group, column, init state, it's all like right defined in here. And it's very structured, and since it is a conversion, so it's not like it would be different. Like if you have 3 developers developing an application, their mode of developing would be different, so their coding might be different, their way of thinking to develop the application would be different. But when you are converting from through an automatic tool, obviously the coding will exactly look same, and all the forms will be converted the same way. The structure would be same. The way where the placement would be, it will be all same basically throughout the application. So it will be much easier for maintenance purposes. So basically that's what we show, like the conversion tool, before and after runtime, how it looks, and before and after PL SQL code, like what was before and what has been converted to. So I think, Matt, we can open for question answer.
Great. So yeah, what we'll do is give you guys a minute to post any questions you have, and again, use the Q&A button, which is in the upper right-hand corner. It's the blue button with the question mark. And we'll go silent for like 30 seconds here, give a chance for some of the questions to come in, and then we'll start going over them, and Khalid and I will answer them. We also have one of our technical leads on as well, so if we need to go deep, we can do that. All right, first question. Does this product convert Oracle reports? And I'll start with the answer on that, Khalid. The short answer is no. This only converts the forms. What our customers do for the reports is either one of two things. One, they will, for the initial conversion, keep the Oracle reports and just call those from the converted Java application. And you can do that. There is some integration work that has to be done, but it's not, it's not major work. It just depends how many reports you have that you'll have to tie that in. But typically, you're talking only 1 to 2 weeks tops to do that. The second approach we see customers do is they have some reporting solution that they're standardizing on across the enterprise. And so they'll just rewrite the reports in those. Sometimes they're going to a new Java-based one, like Jasper or something like that, or JReport. But other times, they have an enterprise reporting standard already, like the Business Objects or Cognos, and they'll rewrite them. There are some report conversion utilities out there, and just over the course of working with Oracle customers over the years, we've worked with some customers on those, and what we have found is that if the reports have any substantial or any business logic in them at all, you typically have to rewrite the report anyway. So unless they're really simple reports, you're not gaining much with a report conversion solution, at least the ones that we've seen out there at the customer sites. Anything to add to that, Khalid?
No, I think you have covered basically everything, and so yes, reports can, as you said, like maybe reports can be called from Java as is, or migrated and called later on. So.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Next question. What about ADF? Does this convert to ADF? The answer to that is yes, at the presentation layer level. So for those of you that don't know, ADF is a Java framework from Oracle. It's Oracle's, I think it stands, Khalid, does it stand for Application Development Framework?
It is.
Yes. So, which has a lot of different components to it. It's a very big thing. But how we support ADF is when you convert the application, you have the option to convert it like what we showed in the demo for the presentation layer, or we had an option, you would have seen it in that conversion screen or console that Khalid showed, to convert the presentation layer to ADF. And so it'll actually use ADF controls or GUI objects in the presentation layer, which, are ADF objects or controls are based on JSF controls. And so you have the option to do that. The back-end business logic that's converted with our tools is not ADF. It's still just straight Java Java classes and libraries, but we do give that option with the conversion out of the box to convert the presentation layer to ADF. All right, any other questions? Oh, here's one that just came up. Does this support deployment to JBoss? I'll let you answer that, Khalid.
It does actually. It does. We have clients who have done in JBoss. So again, like the process is same. Take the WAR file and follow the processing steps or the deployment steps for JBoss, and you should be able to run. It's just the Java application that we create and is deployable on any Java EE compliant server. So yes.
Right. All right. Next question. Can we keep our existing database packages as is?
Yes, if you want me to answer, the question is yes. You can. There are two choices, and most of the customers, since they are using those packages which are in database for not only Oracle application, they have other application that uses the same data package, so they continue using the Oracle database. And what we do when we convert into Java, any Oracle form or library or any code that is calling that database package, we convert into right Java syntaxes, so it will continue using the database package. Whatever it is doing, it will return the values back to the Java side, and we continue the processing from there. Yes, you can keep it, and if you want to move from database, Oracle database, you have the choice, that choice too.
There was kind of a follow-on clarification to it, although I think you answered that as well, but I'm just going to read it out loud just to make sure, Khalid. Those calls from forms to database packages.
Sorry?
He kind of added a follow-on comment, those calls from forms to database packages.
Yeah, that's when I was answering. Yeah, basically like the forms calls database packages, and when you convert forms to Java, what happens that calls are converted to the right Java syntaxes that can call the same database package from Java. So that's one of the things what we suggest or recommend sometimes. If it is a big application, what you can do, you can partially convert part of the application into Java and continue using REST as is, and then later on you can migrate those forms also into Java. So you can partial conversion, and all whatever you are converting would be calling the same database packages which were in the database, the same way as Oracle form was calling, because there is a communication between Java and database packages. So we use that communication and call the database packages as is from database.
Right. Yeah. No. He chimed in, and when I was talking, saying it that you had clarified it already. So excellent. I just wanted to make sure. Next question: how does the conversion handle bugs in the existing Oracle Forms apps? Well, the answer to that is it doesn't. If there's bugs in the Oracle Forms app, those will get converted over as well. Certainly, we don't have an automated way to address bugs, although that would be pretty incredible if we did. No one has that. And typically what you want to do in a conversion project is keep those out of the scope of the conversion project itself. Otherwise, you would never be finished with the app conversion. But that is exactly why having that similar look and feel in the conversion project is so important, because we run into this in conversion projects is when we do it, or when we're just doing tech support for a customer that's using the tool, they'll say, hey, we've got this issue in the converted app. And what do? We say, okay, well, let's see, let's reproduce that. Does that issue occur on the Oracle Forms? Did it occur in the Oracle Forms side? And often we'll find over the course of a project, a couple issues that are reported that are like, yeah, you know what, that same error occurs in the Oracle Forms app. So that error was already there in the Oracle Forms app. In some ways, that's a comfort because, you know, it validates that it is actually reproducing the Oracle Forms app as is over. And typically what the customer does is they identify those that were already errors on the Oracle Forms side as well, and save addressing those to once the conversion project itself is complete, and then just manage that on an ongoing basis of maintaining and extending the application. Khalid, anything you want to add to that? Did I explain that clear enough? Well, Khalid, are you there? Did we lose you?
Oh no, I'm here. Sorry. So no, you are right actually, Matt. Whatever you have said is exactly right. Like we want to carry whatever is being done because it's hard for the conversion tool to decide what is the exact bug. Maybe it's not a bug for someone and a bug for some other one. So to set the criteria is difficult.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Well, if you do have any other questions, go ahead and post it, and then what we'll do now is we'll just move to wrapping this up. So what you saw in the webinar today is, we gave you a little bit of context going into a demo, but we talked about the keys to conversion of an Oracle Forms app, and those keys, there's some for developers, like maintaining the structure of the project and just having not just clean and maintainable code, but code that you would be able to recognize and navigate through on an ongoing basis, as well as that end user key of maintaining that similar look and feel that we were just talking about. And then we went ahead and actually did a conversion of an app to show you how easy it can be and demonstrate those concepts. So that's pretty much the webinar. We did record this, so within the next day or so, there will be a recorded version available if you'd like to view it again or you need to share it with some coworkers. When you exit the webinar, you'll get prompted for like a 3-question survey. Please take a moment and respond in those. Let us know how we did. Let us know if this was the content you were expecting. Was there anything you didn't see that you'd like to see, or are there topics you'd like to see in future webinars? We do a CipherSoft webinar about every 2 months or so. And other than that, if you have any questions, one of our representatives will follow up with you and be more than happy to help you out. And Khalid and I thank you for participating and hope you have a great day.